SnapPlus version 3 has several new features to help you make efficient annual updates to your nutrient management plan. Today I'll be showing you the features available in the Update Crops and Update Application tabs. These are available on the Records and Updates page. Here, I'm looking at crop year 2025 in the Update Crops tab. The table that I can see looks very similar to the annual view that's available on the Management page. In this case, I'm looking at one row or multiple rows for each field in the selected crop year. I might see multiple rows for a given field in the event that I've planted more than one crop in this crop year, such as when I plant a cover crop. This field is showing me, for all of my fields that were active and had crops planned in 2025, what the crop details were. This table is sortable by any of the columns that have the up and down arrow here. It also has the ability to use filters like many other tables in SnapPlus version 3 here in the Settings menu with the gear icon. For example, let's review our cornfields from crop year 2025. I can click on the Filters menu and select Crop as my filter. Available in the Crop drop-down menu are a list of all of the unique crops that are planted in crop year 2025 on my farm. Let's look at the corn grain fields. Selecting an option from the filter menu will reduce the number of rows that you see in your table to only those that meet the criteria in your filter. In this example, you can see I had 2 corn grain fields planned in crop year 2025. Let's add another crop to my list, which is the corn grain baled stalks. Notice that I can make multiple selections from the filter menu, and when I do that, they are reflected here in this crop filter. I've selected corn grain and corn grain baled stalks, which is the +1 here. Now I'm looking at these 4 different fields. One of the things I can do is make edits to individual crop rows. For example, if I needed to make any updates to tillage, I could do that by selecting the tillage menu, similar to on the Management page, and changing the tillage. Changes here are saved back to the Management page and will be reflected in the field view and the annual view. The other thing we can do is make edits to multiple fields at once. For example, let's imagine I wanted to update the yield on all of my alfalfa fields. I can go to the filters, select crop, and select alfalfa. This shows me all of my established alfalfa fields. Let's imagine I'd like to update the yield on all of these fields. I can click Update All Displayed Data and select which property I'd like to update. The drop-down menu shows me what's available. I'm updating the yield. After I've selected yield, I get another drop-down menu with my different options. I can select the correct yield and click Submit. Note that this will update the yield for all of the fields that are currently displayed in my filtered table. After I click Submit, the yield data will be updated for these rows and my table will be returned to the unfiltered view. We can take a look and confirm that our established alfalfa now shows my updated yield of 4.6 to 5.5 tons. Once you've finished updating crop information for a specific crop year, click the Confirm Crops button. This will check the checkbox in the Confirmed column, indicating that this data has been reviewed and reflects what happened in the crop year selected. Clicking the Confirm Crops button is required before you can view application data in the Update Applications tab. In the Update Applications tab, we see one row for every application that went on crops in crop year 2024. In some cases, you might see multiple rows for a given field when you had multiple types of different applications. Similar to the Update Crops tab, you have the ability to edit these rows individually if you need to make any changes to information about application rates, methods, sources, or seasons. You also have the ability to sort and filter this table and make updates to multiple applications at once. For example, let's filter to all of our potash applications. I'll select the Gear menu, Filter, and Source. This gives me a menu where I can select all of my different nutrient application sources from this list. I'll pick potassium chloride. Here, I can see all of the fields where I applied potassium chloride in crop year 2024. Let's say that I additionally wanted to filter to only see alfalfa fields where I applied potassium chloride. I can add another filter by clicking again on the Gear button, selecting Filter, and selecting Crop. This gives me a menu where I can search for the appropriate crop. I'll search for alfalfa. Now I'm looking only at alfalfa fields where I applied potash. One option we have here in order to update these rows is using a nutrient system. I can click on Replace with Nutrient System and Replace Displayed Rows. This indicates that I will be replacing the application data for all of the rows in my filtered table. Here, I have a nutrient system for potash. I'd like to update the rate to reflect the rate that I applied in crop year 2024, and I'm choosing to overwrite application data for these fields. This is appropriate because I'm updating this application to reflect what actually happened. Once I've made my selections, I can click Apply System. This will update all of my applications to reflect the details in this system. Any rows that are displayed here in my filtered table will be updated as appropriate. Here you can see that I've updated the rate per acre to 300 using the nutrient system for all of these rows. Once I'm done working on these alfalfa fields, I can clear my filters in order to view all of the applications and continue working through my annual updates. Once I'm satisfied that all of my data is correct, I can click Confirm Applications. This will mark all of the applications in the selected crop year as applied. When you confirm and click Applications as applied, on the management page, they're locked. That means that when I come back to crop year 2024 and review some of these details, I'm not able to change things like the source or the season. If I did make a mistake and I need to fix it, all I need to do is uncheck this applied checkbox in order to bring back the ability to edit this row and fix any errors that might have occurred. Once I've fixed them, I can click Applied to indicate that this has been reviewed and this reflects what actually happened. Thanks for watching this video about how to use the Annual Update tabs in SnapPlus version 3.